Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a fabulous Thursday. Let me know where you are coming from, and welcome to Amy's Inspiration Station on the Altenew YouTube and Facebook channels. So hello, I hope everybody's doing well, and please share this live while we're live, and you'll be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And I see that we have Teresa here from Virginia, and I also see we have Shiomara and Pam and Joy. Oh my gosh, hot and muggy here in Louisiana, and Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Sunny and pleasant, San Francisco. I'm so excited. And hello, Sharif from South Florida. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was really wanted to make this a show that's really about trying new things and kind of like breaking free of like, oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous. And I'm like, what's better than watercolor? So I'd love to know, are you like a watercolor champion, or are you like, oh my gosh, watercolor, I don't know what the heck to do with it, whatever it is. So let me know what you think about watercolor. So hello, who is behind the badge today? Is this Jelly behind the badge, or Han? Who is behind the badge? Let us know. And I see Kim from Omaha and Margaret from Scotland. Hello. And Cece, how are you doing? Good evening. I hope it's not getting too cold yet for you, Cece. And I see Carrie as well, and Beth Ann. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, Carrie, New Westminster, BC. I've always wanted to go to British Columbia. It is on my bucket list. Hello, and I see Cindy as well, and Carrie is here, and Penny. Hello, everybody. So I'm so excited, and it's Han. Yes, Han and Amy back together. This is Dream Team. I hope you are doing well. And hello, Charlene. Charlene, we're talking watercolor. Do you have any tips? And again, love to know, are you like, I'm a little nervous about watercolor. Watercolor is not my jam. I don't know what the heck to do with it. Pam, yep, never tried watercoloring, don't know what to do. What I love about Altenew is we also have a sister site, which is Artistry by Altenew. And so it really helps you to like unleash that like inner artist that really, really wants to come out. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is kind of playing around with this a little bit. So again, please share this live while we're live. Let people know, hey, this is my opportunity. Let's go check out some watercolor. And Han, if you could for me, there are some amazing classes up on Altenew Academy. And if you're like, I don't really know what to do about watercolor, that is a fabulous place to start. So Altenew Academy is our really our teaching channel. And so you can go and check out classes, and it's a really easy, nice, easy way to get into watercolor. Oh my gosh, and Joy, watercolor is not my jam. Maybe Joy, we will be hopefully changing that a little bit. And Charlene, I love that advice. There's no wrong way to do it, only ways to improve. That's fabulous. All right. And hello, and Penny. I have some tubes today. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and get to my desk. And Altenew has a ton of different watercolor materials, and you can even watercolor with your dye inks because they're water-based, right? So like dissolves like, that's our basic chemistry. And so super easy to do. Even if you're like, I don't have watercolor and I don't feel like buying it, go ahead and use your dye inks because they're water-based. Well, they're water soluble, so you can use those. And even your reinkers can be used as watercolor. I see Dawn from Auckland. Hello, Dawn. And autumn is coming. Cece's autumn is coming. I know. I got to tell you, Cece, it's getting to be fall here, but not yet. It's a little too hot. I'm kind of like waiting for it to not be 80 anymore because I'm looking forward to that a little bit. Oh, Carrie, that's great. You're in the Altenew Educator Certification Program. The classes are super fabulous. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get down. And yes, Teresa, I'm so glad that you are signed up for our retreat. And the retreat's also another great way to just try something out. And I know we have a class coming in as well that's coming up, which is about sentiment. So that's also, you might have seen some advertisements about that. But yes, check out our Altenew Academy and even our YouTube channel. There's so much inspiration. All right, and we have Han behind the badge today. So Han, I'm so excited that you are here. And she is putting some links inside the chat. And so that is great because you can use those links. So go ahead and shop while you're doing this. And again, if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And look at that. I have a nice wire where I don't want it. There we go. Move that out of the way. Oh, Beth Ann, great tip about removing crafty tape. We are going to do a little masking. Yes. You know what? Oh, though, emailer, I got to tell you, it's about practice. I wasn't any good. So I'm actually not going to be watercoloring images too much, but we're going to show you some different ways to use some watercolor. But I'm going to start with some of the things that we offer. And again, we have our sister site, which is Artistry by Altenew. And even if you just go to altenew.com, if you're more familiar with that, it's very easy to get over to the Artistry site. And some of these materials are there, and you can actually shop for both while you're there. All right, so first I'm going to talk about paper because that's important. And so our paper, we have a hot pressed and a cool pressed paper. I got so excited I was prepping for you guys because I'm trying to get through 3 cards. And these are nice because they're just loose sheets. And I just practice with it. It's totally fine. So it's so great. Oh my gosh, Geraldine, we need to know sugar-free cookies out of the oven. Oh my gosh, Penny, thank you so much for sharing this. And you too can be like Penny, and you can be entered to win a gift card. And we have Han behind the badge today. Han, I'm so glad. Han, are you like a watercolorist? Have you tried watercoloring? Is this something that you're like, oh, I think I'm, I'm good at, or I'm still working on it? And I apologize that I'm not. My camera hates white. It's like trying to focus, and it's like, where's my light? So I'm going to do my best to show you. I don't know if this is going to come through, but you'll see as we go through. Our cold press paper, this has a lot more texture to it. And the hot press paper is very, very smooth. So this is really great for stamping some images. In fact, I'm going to start with this today. And the cold press paper has a lot of texture to it. So if you're looking for that like traditional kind of bumpy, like really nice texture, that's going to be our cold press paper. All right. And we also have some amazing things to use. So that's paper is number 1. And then these are like my favorite. There's actually more than this, but these are my favorite uses or my favorite watercolor sets. So this is the artist watercolor. This is a 24 half pan. So these are solids and really super easy to take on the go. And I know everybody looks at this and they're like, Amy, do you really watercolor? I promise I do. But I also clean because I'm a little meticulous and a little crazy. So I clean everything up afterwards. Oh my gosh, Geraldine, those cookies sound amazing. Cranberry, Thompson raisins, and cashew with almond extract. Oh, wow. And not really, but I know I'm with Han. I love watching people watercolor. It's totally something that is like very relaxing. Now we also have these tubes, and this might intimidate you if you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with these tubes? But these are really nice because the color is so concentrated. These will last you quite a long time. And this is actually what we're going to start to work with today. And they come in so many different gorgeous colors. And I'll talk about like, do I need every single color? Yes, but you can get away with, a couple of other things. And then the third product, actually the fourth product that I'm going to be using today, because I have another one. I know this is technically 3, but these are the watercolor brush markers. These are fabulous. And they come in 4 packages. And, because I put them down here. I'll show these 3 and then I'll get the other ones. And I love them because they're kind of like in seasonal colors. So we have our Tropical Fiesta, which is like summer. Look at those colors. How pretty. Winter Wonderland. Then there's the Spring Garden. And then we have Autumn. So let me grab the Autumn one for you. And that's Autumn Festival. And so all of these colors, you actually can use everything in the set, or like I'm going to do, you can mix and match throughout the set. So that's really nice. So, oh, that's so nice, Carrie. They got the tubes with the petal palette. Yeah, I like that because then you can kind of mix them up and around. So it's really good. And I agree, Beth Ann, the packaging is so gorgeous. I just love to have them on my shelf. So now there's also the artist gouache set. And like I said, I promise I use it. I just like to keep everything. You should have seen my Barbies. My Barbies were also still in original packaging. And so these are a little bit thicker. So it's still water-based and you still want to use water to activate it, but these are a little bit thicker and not quite as transparent. And so if you're like, I don't know what to do with gouache, like I said, we're going to be playing around. So I'm going to go with it. And I'm with CC. You kind of need like every single color as you go. All right. So the first way that we're going to use watercolor, and I happen to be a person who likes to use like a palette, and Altenew has, and I think these are the old palettes. The new palettes are white. So I apologize that I'm using an older palette, but the white ones are actually nice because these are transparent. So sometimes I have to like shift and put a piece of white paper under here just so I can see exactly what I'm doing. but you can use a large palette, and then there's also a smaller palette, which I have somewhere hiding. And the smaller palette, here you are. So there's a large one and a little bit of a smaller one. And I use these, either one, but I'm going to use the larger one today. All right. So I'm actually going to do a smooshing technique where I'm going to use just some, basic packaging, and I'm going to use that and kind of smoosh color onto some paper. So what I have over here is I actually have the smooth pressed cardstock. And what I have done is I have cut this into a 2-inch strip. And so I'm just going to put that on the back, that this is hot press, and this is a 2-inch strip of paper right here. Oh my gosh, and the metallic are the best. I have those right next to me. Those actually never leave. Like, I'm supposed to put everything away, but my metallics I kind of like hang out with because they're really beautiful and gorgeous. In fact, I might use those a little bit later. So, oh my gosh, yes. And you can try to use, I just can't even bear to throw the Altenew envelopes in the trash. There's so many great ideas about people using those Altenew envelopes, like for card ideas. I use them also for like storage. Like I put my projects in there because I like to take a lot of stuff on the go. And so I kind of put all these projects in there. All right, so I have an older stencil. This is the Buffalo Plaid Builder stencil. And this is really cool because you can actually layer the stencil and make like a little cross-check pattern. And if you haven't grabbed this one, it's so cute for, the holiday season, which we have coming up. All right, so I have this. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a resist technique with this. All right, so let me show you guys where I'm going to start. So I'm going to grab some clear embossing powder, and I'm also going to grab a brush, and I'm going to grab my mini. I really need to label these. I'm going to grab one of the mini stencil brushes, so the blending brushes, and I have one that is dedicated for embossing ink. All right, so I'm just going to use clear embossing ink on this one so that, Charlene, you need to get the metallics. Oh, they look gorgeous, like even just when I'm doing some splatter on top. Oh, metallics are, and they're very creamy, and you really can see them super well. All right, I was looking for my satin tape. All right, so again, we're talking watercolor today, and I'm not going in and like watercoloring anything. I'm just kind of using the ink and paint in a couple of different ways. All right, so I'm just going to tape this onto my little section here. And that's because I'm just going to take my Plaid Builder stencil and I'm just going to use one of the strips and just put that right down. And I'm going to tape this down as well. And I'm just going to use my embossing ink, and I'm going to put that right in. Now, I know you guys all yelled at me, so I felt that. So thank you. I appreciate that, because the one thing I always forget to do before I am about to do anything with embossing is I forget to use my powder. How many people are with me? Raise your hand. I can see you. All right, there we go. All right, we're talking watercolor today. I'd love to know, are you like a watercolor? You love it. You always reach for it. Are you like, I don't know what to do with that? Are you, where are you? Do you have a favorite medium? Do you like the markers? Do you like pan set? Do you like tubes? So let me know what you love about it. I'm afraid it'll look like a 2-year-old. Oh, Elizabeth Garner, you guess what? This will absolutely, the purpose is it's going to look like a 2-year-old. Get ready for this one. No, it's good. Sometimes, their art is, it's good. It's good, good, good. All right. Oh, and I love, Han, that you put in the foldable cutting and alignment mat, because that makes your life amazing. That is a good one. I use that. It's probably in my to-go bag right now. All right, so I'm just getting a generous amount, and this is probably going to be the most boring part of today, because I am going to put clear ink onto white paper, and then I'm going to add clear powder on top of it. So this is not going to be exciting for a little while, but let's just check in and chat. All right, so let me know, how are you doing? Have you been crafting? Have kids gone back to school yet? Are you in the pumpkin spice mood? Let me know. Oh yeah, I never forget my powder. No, who is that, Charlene? I feel fancy using my brush. I love that, Charlene. I always forget the powder. And then like I look at it and I'm like, why did that come out so messy? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot the powder. Still have the pan set you showed. Oh, that's good. And Carrie, you know, I have to say, I love what you had said about building your confidence and using it. And remember, it's paper, you know, it can be recycled. It's all right. Let it go, move on, cut it up into pieces, use it for die cuts, whatever, or just let it go. Think about it as an investment in yourself, that you're investing in your, you know, your abilities and whatnot. I did my first reel of the pool. Oh, that's exciting, Carrie. All right. So I just put on a nice heaping amount of embossing ink. And again, this is the Buffalo Builder Plaid Stencil. So I'm going to put the satin masking tape because it does come off nice and easy. All right. Oh, I'm with you on that one. Dawn, go through stages, use the basic pan, then for a while, don't do much. I have to tell you, I brought out the my markers, and I'm like, why have I not used these in a while? I don't know what the heck. Ooh, black flowers. Joy, those are going to be gorgeous. Yeah. Christine, you know what's nice about when you're reorganizing? It's like, don't you feel like you find stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had these. I'm in that process right now where we are just kind of going through the whole house. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I've been looking for this stuff for, you know, decade. And there it was behind the back of the closet. All right. So I got a little bit of extras. I'm going to just wipe these guys away. Eventually I'm going to cut this down because it's going to go onto my paper. So I'm just going to make a little strip with it. But I have a nice wide strip here because when I smoosh this with the paper, or sorry, with the ink, I want to be able to make decisions about where I want to cut things. So sometimes I like to make things a little bit bigger. So I know I don't want my strip to be that wide, but I make a nice wide one. So it gives me some options. I love options. You only see a blue screen, no video. Okay. Whoop. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's, oh no. Something happened. Where did I go? That's a good question. All right. We're going to pause for a second. Okay, let's see what we got. All right, everybody, thank you. Can you hear me? How about that one? Let's try this one again. All right, let's try that. Still a blue screen. Still a blue screen? All right. Okay, but you can hear me though, yes? Okay. All right, we're gonna try this. Blue screen, and you can hear, and lost your audio. Oh, awesome. So awesome. Okay, super great. All right, can hear you. Okay, I am going to try a couple of things. I apologize, everybody. By the way, I have such excitement, but I'm going to try a couple of things on my video, and we'll see if we can get me back in. All right, so thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Okay. And we're going to try again. See if that works. It is a pretty blue screen. I appreciate that. All right, still blue for everybody? Awesome. I know, I saw it go clink, and then I don't know what the heck happened. Hear you fine, found my chat. Okay. All right, anybody else? Still a blue screen? Still a blue screen? It flashed on for a second. All right. How's that going? Han, how's that? You can see workspace. Yay? Yay? Are we good? Awesome. Oh. All right. How's that doing, everybody? Oh, thank goodness. I got to tell you, I got to like, whoa. My heart just raced. A lot for that one. Whoa, craziness. All right. Thank you guys for letting me know. I'm glad I looked up. Sometimes I'm like in the zone. Oh my gosh. All right. You guys can see my desk. And I know you're all like, but it's just white on white. I know. I was saying that this was going to be the boring section, and maybe it's not the boring section. I got to tell you, because that was exciting. All right. So what I just did, for those of you who are joining me, and thank you so much. And again, now that we're back and everything's working, thank you. Please share this live while we're live. Now that you can see me, and share out with a friend who you're like, hey, you know what? I know you've always wanted to try watercoloring, and here's some other different ways to do it. And come check us out. So share this live while we're live. We have Han behind the badge. Thank you so much, Han. And thank you, everybody, for that little bit of help there and a little bit of praying and getting my technology to function. I love it when that happens. All right, so this is just clear embossing powder and embossing ink, and I use the Buffalo Plaid Stencil. And so that's all melted in there. I know you can see it because it's super duper shiny. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some really, really pretty color on that. And that embossing powder is going to stay white. So that's the section that's going to stay white. All right, so I'm going to actually grab my smaller palette here, and I am going to take a little bit of colors. Now, if you're like, do I need every color? As we talked about before, of course you do. But if you don't, the awesome thing about paint is that you can make every color with your 3 primary colors. So if you're like, I don't know what to do, but I want to try this medium, just grab blue, red, and yellow. All right. So this has been the month for what happened. I know, right? Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna, now I have phthalo blue. I'm gonna go like a little bit kind of neater here. I'm gonna try this dark cyan, and I want to try the quinachrome. I can never pronounce this one. I'm just gonna say magenta. All right, everybody, magenta with me. And there's this really pretty lemon, this opera lemon, and that's because even though I'm in the same family, if that makes sense. So I still have red and yellow and blue, but they're just a little bit of a shader, difference. You know what I mean? And so I'm just going to go with these 3, and that's what we're going to do. All right. So I'm just going to take these, and I'm just going to put, I'm talking like a very small amount. All right. Because I have a small piece of paper. So I'm just going to take some of this and just put this right onto my palette. And this is also the other reason why I like using the palettes, is because you can do fun, kind of cool things like this. All right. So I am going to put them in a little bit of a line because you can tell I'm about to make a rainbow here. All right. Jerry-Lynn, yes, I can. YouTube has been having issues. Thank you. Jerry-Lynn's like, don't worry, Amy, it's not you. I appreciate that. And Laura, what's nice about these tubes, they do come in sets, so you can get a set, or you can just buy them individually. And that's kind of neat. And again, these things will last you a very long time. All right, so I have the magenta. I have this. Oh my God, that was way too much. Well, there we go. Oh, got excited. So I have the magenta. I have the lemon, and I have the dark cyan. And let me just put these up here so you can see what the heck I got going on. All right, so now I'm going to use everybody's secret weapon, which is the Mister. So I'm going to mix these. We're going to get these all kind of mixing together. And I'm also going to mix my paper here. And again, this is the Altenew smooth press watercolor paper. So it's nice and smooth. And that's just because I wasn't looking for texture. That's all. You can use cold press. It's totally fine. And I had already added embossing ink and clear embossing powder using the Buffalo Plaid Stencil. So I got a little bit of some lines there. All right. So Altenew has some amazing brushes, and there's a set that you can get that goes from very tiny. Let me put them in order for you. And up until quite a bit larger. So this is going from like a 0. You can see how fine that little guy is, all the way up to this 6, which is nice and wide. And that's what we're going to grab right now. All right. So I'm just going to add some water to these. And I want to get these to kind of melt together. So I'm just going to start mushing them together. Okay. And if you're feeling, in my case, I did not add enough water. We're going to douse this sucker. Okay. And that's where the Mister is awesome, because we're just going to kind of add this all together. Now I want to keep my yellow. So notice I boofed a little bit so I can add a little bit more yellow to that. And in fact, I'm going to change out my brush, and on the other side, so I can push this guy down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this. All right. Now my green is going over here. It's going to make brown. It's all right. It's watercolor. Whoever had said before, like it's going to look like a 2-year-old. Yeah, probably. That's okay. That's the point. But I'm going to add in a little bit more of that lemon, and then we'll get that yellow back. Okay, there we go. And again, if you're like, I don't know if I want to do this with this medium, you can try your inks. You can try whatever the heck you want, and that will work itself through. All right, so let's add a little bit more of that yellow. Okay, now that looks pretty okay. I'm going to add a little bit more water, and we'll see. Now, if you're like, I don't know about this, you can actually grab, I have some extra paper over here, and you can see what it's going to look like before you like actually go and commit on your project. And that's what I'm going to do here, because I might actually change what I'm about to do. All right. And then when you lift it up, not bad, right? So you get this kind of striation of all of the, yeah, see, Charlene's like, I agree with that. 2-year-olds are very creative. Now, if you look at it and you're like, I hate this or I don't like it, it's okay. This is your first pass. And your best bet is to take this and you can actually dry this and then add in the next layer and then add in the next layer. And that's going to help you to develop the color. So don't think that the first pass when you do watercolor is it and it's done. That it's really about layering. And you have to kind of think about that. You're layering and you're layering and you're layering as we go through. All right. So, and I want to just point out how bright this is. And that's what I love about the Altenew stuff is the pigment in it. It's just such a beautiful, vibrant pigment. And you can see how that yellow is there and we're mixing through. And I'm like, oh, I'm losing a little bit more of that cyan. So I'm going to add more cyan in. And that's what I can do. So I'll add a little bit more on this side. I want to get it nice and wet. And I'm going to start here and I can pick it up. Now I don't have to put it down the way I did. I can now just take my section and I'm just going to put this down and I'm going to come up, let that move through. All right. So I'm going to let that sit. I kind of like it. I think I'm getting a little bit of brown. So I'm going to try another method because I don't love how brown this is getting. So I'm going to move this palette out and I'm going to grab my big palette and bring him in. And I still have a ton of stuff on here. So I'm just going to use what the heck is on my brush. So here you go. I'm not even reaching into my tubes right now. So here's my green. I got that right here. So I'm going to push that down. And then I got my red. And that is right here. And I got my yellow. And I'm going to put that down. All right. So I'm going to keep them a little bit away from each other. Now, I know I'm going for it because whatever. Here we go. Yes. Oh, that's nice. That's a good point. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can totally remove oopsies. I love that. Who said that? That's great. Beth Ann, yes, you can. And that's the nice thing about it is you totally can. All right, so I'm just going to take this and my paper's a little dry. So I'm going to get this wet. So we're putting wet on wet and that's going to make that watercolor move. So I'm just going to shove this down and I'm just going to start pressing around. Now, if you don't have a palette, you can use saran wrap. You can use acetate. You can use your packaging. Totally fine. And again, this paper can stand up to a lot of abuse. All right, just letting you know that. This paper can stand up to a lot of abuse. All right, here we go. Boop. Oh, there we go. All right, so now I'm getting a little bit more of a gradation. And you can see where we kept that, white from the buffalo plaid stencil. So this is kind of my project. This is really what I wanted it to look like. I want a little bit more blue. This is a little bit more green for me. So I'm going to add a little bit more blue. I think I want a little purple up here too. So then I'm going to let this, I'm actually going to go ahead and dry this. And what that's going to do is it's going to preserve that bottom layer. And I can actually start to make some depth of color because this is kind of a little bit of a one-trick pony here. By the way, super pro tip and is Altenew makes these amazing tweezers, which I think I was just using and are somewhere lost on my desk already. I need like 4 pairs because I lose them so much. And that is great for holding paper when you are putting it with fire so that way you don't burn yourself like I just did. So super pro tip. All right. So again, we took watercolor paper. This is the hot press watercolor paper. This is relatively dryish. And I just put down the 3 colors. So that's cyan, that is the yellow, and that's the magenta. And all I did was put them on my desk and I just stuck my paper in and I let it go. So I can add these in. I want to add in like a really bright blue. So I'm actually going to grab this Prussian blue and put that in there. Oh my gosh, Roberta, we're so excited to have you here. We have Han behind the badge. I'm so excited for Han to be here. And with Han, I'm curious if you, like Han, just maybe watercolor is not your jam. And then I'm so glad that you are here because that's what we're talking about today. Is how can you kind of get over that fear and just kind of literally dive into watercolor. All right. Again, with the Altenew brushes, they come in all of these fabulous sizes. And so you can use small, big, whatever it happens to be. And we're going to add a little bit more water. And I'm just going to get that flowing. And see, I'm trying to push that into the green. And I still have my green guy. So I'm just going to add a little bit more into this side. And then I want to add in a little bit more on the red. So this is, I'm not even going to pronounce that, some sort of red. All right. Ooh, Geraldine, cookies. All right, Geraldine is feeding us some cookies, everybody. I'm really excited about. All right, a little bit of red. Now, you also can dip this in, and that's going to, with the colors that you have in there, and that's also going to deepen those up nicely. Okay. All right, I'm just going to spread this around just to make that a little bit red, and then we'll get that over there. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to take my yellow, and I'll just add in whatever the heck is on my brush right there. Add some water on my paper. And now we're going to go in for a second dip. Okay. All right, and that should give me that blue and the other. Now I'm pulling the whole thing in. But if I wanted to, I could just do little sections. So wherever I'm like, oh, I think I want a little bit here or a little bit there, then you can start pulling in sections, okay? I like to wait a little bit. So now you can see, now we're starting to develop a little bit more depth of color. Do you see that? I'm losing the yellow a little bit, that's okay, but I'm getting that nice piece up here, and I want that little bit more blue, so I'm just gonna stick this guy over here just to get a little bit more blue, okay? And I'm going to get a little bit more red up on this side. All right. I don't want that green. I'm going to cut that green off so we're okay there. All right. And now I'm going to dry him off. So this is, I'm liking where this is right now. So I'm going to stop here, but you could put it in for another dip. You could add another color. I could add some orange in. Do whatever the heck you want to. But this is, I'm liking this. In fact, I think I want to just go a little bit more blue. Right up there. There we go. Want a little bit more blue on that side. All right, there we go. You also, if you wanted to, I don't know, it's watercolor. You can do whatever you want to. Add more water, add more pieces, whatever it is. All right, so now this is nice. What I typically do is I take my palette over to my sink and I just kind of clean it off, wash it off. But this is looking really good. All right, so now I have this massive strip, and now I want to make a card out of that. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to clean my stuff up. So I have some paint water. I'm just going to stick my brushes in here just to kind of clean them off and get all of that ink off because I don't need that anymore. I'm going to grab this guy, pull him over to the side. All right. And now we're going to finish this up. So what I have is, oh my gosh, I don't know about that. This is like Charlene had said, it's like 2-year-old kind of stuff, but so easy to do. And if you're like, again, you're like, I don't know about tubes, but you can use this and do this technique with your ink colors. So you can smush those ink colors down, very similar look. And I love it when you add it the emboss resist because that's neat. I like having that white or some sort of pattern that's going along. All right, so this is my card base. And all I have here is just an A2 size card base. I'm going to keep it on the landscape kind of side of this. I want to cut this down because this is too thick for where I am and I got weirdness, etc. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that, oh, sorry, start piecing this together. I know. Geraldine's like, it's a, got to tell you, technology today is not my friend. I got to tell you that. All right. So this is, we're going to go right under here. All right, there we go. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of a border strip. And I want to add a little bit of gold. There we go. All right. So I kind of wanted this to be like, so this was a 2-inch strip that I did because this buffalo stencil, like the width of it was 1 inch. So let me bring this down. So I'm cutting this down to 1 1/4. Oh, that's too much. 1 1/2. That's good. There we go. 1 1/2. So I'm cutting that down to 1 1/2 inches. And I know I got to do, this is too long. So I'm actually going to take this and I got to cut off those edges. All right. So now I'm going to do that part, but I'm going to use scissors for this one. All right. Now I have some leftover pieces here. These are just little gold leaves that I had done. And these are cut out of the gold cardstock from the Itty Bitty Leaves, Itty Bitty Branches die set. And this is a fabulous set that if you just like, again, you're just watching TV, you got your favorite Netflix show, and you just cut up a bunch of branches, keep them around. These are like make beautiful accents on cards. And this is our gold metallic paper. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Hello, let's see, that's Roxanne. Roxanne, how are you doing? Roxanne, we are talking watercolor today. So I have 3 different watercolor media that we are rolling through. The first one that we looked at was the tubes. So I grabbed some watercolor tubes. So that's going to go really, really pretty right there. And I can add some branches. And I think those branches are going to look really super nice along here. So we'll just put in a couple of branches. Now I wanted to add like a little bit of gold base. I was going to put it on the top and bottom, but I think that's going to be too much. So I'm just going to do a little bit. So I'm going to bring in my trusty cutter and I'm just going to cut a little bit of a gold edge on this one. Just a teeny tiny bit. And I feel like sometimes, especially in this case, because I don't have that little bit of an accent, it's just going to give an accent. I'll do a second one just in case if I love it, but I may not. All right. And then I'm going to actually stamp a sentiment from the next stamp set that I'm using. And that stamp set that I'm going to be using in my second card is called the Paint a Flower China Rose. And I'm just going to use this one that says love you. All right. So I want something like really like a typeface. This would be great. I don't know if you still have a typewriter around, but this is a really great time. Pull out your typewriter. That would look so cute if it was actually typed together as well. So I'm just kind of checking my brushes here, making sure they're all cleaned off. All right, moving this around because you know what's going to happen is my water is going to spill everywhere. All right. All right, and we're talking watercolor. Oh, that's so great. Tag me on the project you used that rose gold. Yes, rose gold cardstock. That stuff is gorgeous. All of their metallics, absolutely love them. All right. Now I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna grab my block here, just making sure that that's lined up. I'm not going to do this and use the clear embossing powder. I am just going to do this real quick just because I want to move on to that second card. Han, how are we doing? We're doing great out there, right? Okay, and thank you everybody for being here with us today. I hope you've had an opportunity to, or this is inspiring you to get out those watercolors. I'd love to know who has the watercolor tubes, and maybe you have or have not used them yet, or maybe you've been feeling like, I don't know what the heck to do with these and they make me nervous. So this is a great opportunity. Grab those tubes, play around like a 2-year-old and see what the heck you get. All right, so this is This is like curly, thick paper. And so the best tape to use on this is the Altenew Ultra Adhesive Tape. And I should have the other sizes, and I don't know where the heck they are. So I'm going to use this. And this is the 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to add some nice, gorgeous tape to this. And this is going to stick down absolutely perfectly. It won't even move. And like I said, I used the hot press Altenew paper, and that was the 2-inch. I made a 2-inch strip on this one. So I know sometimes it's hard for you to see like, oh, what was the size? This one was 2 inches. And then I cut it down to 1.5. And that, again, I did the 2 inches because I knew it was going to be messy, and I just wanted to give myself a little play and a little leeway just in case. All right. So next up, what we're going to be looking at is we are actually going to be looking at the Altenew watercolor markers. So I'd love to know if you've used the watercolor markers. If you, like me, have not touched them in a while, which is me. I think I've been on a die cutting stamping spree and been inking. I've been stenciling and inking a lot. So I haven't pulled these out. And I'm like, oh, I need to really grab these. So I pulled these out. All right, so I'm just going to use my mat, and that's what's great about these mats is I'm just going to use these lines in order to go ahead and line that up. And notice it's over, and I wanted that. That's a little bit on purpose. And my rainbow is going in the opposite direction. Sorry about that. Okay, trying again. Attempt number 2. All right, that's about-ish right. Okay, we got that going on there. And nice and simple. And I wanted to keep these cards simple just to show you like watercolor does not have to be too fussy. You can do a really pretty project in a very, very quick amount of time without doing too much. All right. Oh, how cute. And then we're just going to add, so I'm going to put this little strip on. Just want to see how that looks. Actually, I think I can do it in both. I'm going to put these strips on and then, yes, and I agree. Sometimes the markers, I started with the markers before the pan sets and the tubes. The markers are a little bit easier because we're familiar with that, right? Because we know how to write or color using, pens. And so they kind of feel that way. And that's great. You can use them and kind of put them out. You can even smoosh with those. So if that was something you're like, oh, maybe I'll smoosh with that. That is an easy way to do it as well, because they are highly pigmented. They are so pigmented. All right. Now, just a little strip like that, just adding that tiny little strip just gives it just enough elevation, I think. And I'm putting it on top of that paper and not next to it. All right, and my glue, because I don't have the new Altenew glue. There we go. So just adding just a little bit of that gold detail helps a lot. And my gluing is doing terrible, but I'm trying to be a little bit quicker. And then I'm just going to check and see, but I think I want to do it on both sides. Yes, I do. All right, and I'm going to add this on here. All right. And again, Altenew Academy, if you're still like, oh, I'd like to try this, but I'm not exactly sure, check out Altenew Academy. There's some fabulous classes on there, and those are great. And we still have about 15 minutes, so share this live while we're live. We have Han behind the badge, so thank you, Han, for being here with us today, and thank you for being here with us today. And I hope you are crafting along or this inspires you. And if you haven't already, please sign up on our Facebook group, our Altenew fan Facebook group. And it's a way for you to share the projects and share your love of Altenew. All right. And again, just a tiny little strip of paper sometimes is all you need. And I may or may not add those branches. I kind of got those branches out, but I may not add them. All right. So that is how I would put that together. So really super quick. Nice and, it's a little simple, but it just adds it a little bit. So there we go. All right. And Roberta, you need to do your glasses. Now, if you wanted to, we can add these in. And I have just a little bit of some pieces. And this is probably what I would do with them. Is just add in a couple. And they just kind of add a little bit of fluff to it, but it also doesn't need it. So that's kind of our first one. So that's our smooshing. So I'm going to move that to the side and let me grab my second one. We have about 10 minutes, so I can get it started for you. The third one we were going to do today was with some masking and some splattering. And so that may or may not happen. Yeah, something just dropped. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to show you where I started. So I grabbed the Paint a Flower China Rose, and this is a set that actually has 2 open flowers. And these are so great that because you can use them independently, you can use them, both if you want to, but having a nice open flower, it allows the paint to move. And that's what I want to show you today, is how you can layer that paint up. All right, so what I have done already is I took the one of the flowers. Now this is one stamp. I want to point out that this is one stamp. So all I did is I just made sure I was very careful to just stamp one stamp. All right, and I put that in the bottom corner of my paper, and I did it on regular cardstock. This is going to be my card base, and then this is actually going to be my my painted piece. So this is watercolor paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Rounded Rectangles die set, and I love this because it gives you this like really cute, you can kind of see it. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be die cutting this and then matching it up here. And that's what I'm going to do. And I only did that because I want to poof this up just a little bit. So I'm going to grab this. This is the easiest way to do it because I made sure when I stamp them, they're exactly in this one corner is exactly the same. And this is helping me. So I want to put it right here. All right. I like to do this kind of a spotlight technique because that way I don't feel like I have to do the entire or paint the entire flower. And it just helps a little bit with it where, it gives a little bit something different. All right. So I'm just going to grab my same tape from before and then put this right here. And what's nice about the watercolor markers is they are really fast. They are super fast and quick. All right. 12. Whoa, Roberta. My goodness. 12 cards. Wow. That's a lot of watercoloring. Roberta, what's your medium? Which one do you like the most to use? Do you use markers or regular paint? Love to know. All right. So I know we have about 10 minutes. So all I'm doing here, this was the Altenew Paint a Flower China Rose, and I had stamped one of these. Now, I did stamp this in obsidian ink, and I also used clear embossing powder over that, and that just allows me to keep that water so it stays within the lines. Okay. All right, so I grabbed some of my favorite colors. So let me grab these out. And these are from a mixture of the 4 sets. And I wanted my flower to be a little bit on the pink side. So it's mostly going to be rubellite. And rubellite is a super pretty color. Now, I did my best to clean these guys off. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a better. So I have this, and let me grab this to make sure that pink is off here. And all I'm doing here is I'm just going to add as much as I can, even though my water is a little purple looking right now. I'm just going to add a little bit of clear water to this. And what that's going to allow the ink to do is just move. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to fight the ink. And that's what's great about these is they really do kind of act like markers. So I'm just kind of laying down that first bit of color. And I want my petal to be a little light and then move, or sorry, dark and then move to a little bit of light. And now that I have some ink down, I can just take this and push this color up. And I'm just taking what's there. And if you feel like, I feel like it's a little, personally, I feel like it's a little dark. So I can just take my cloth and I can start to pull that color back until I get to where I want it to be. All right. Now, this is relatively wet down here at the bottom. And I'm going to start to build up this petal. And I'm actually going to add in a little bit of this mango smoothie because I want it to be a little bit on the yellowy side. And I can just add that in. And that's going to create just a little bit of depth. Oh, Karen, brush markers, yeah. And then I just want to add a little bit of this purple. And this is Midnight Violet. And I just realized I put a little yellow in, so I don't want that to turn brown. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of this. And again, I have that water there, so that is going to start to mix them together. So I started out with that rubellite. I added a little bit, it's like an orangey, it's like a little bit of an orange. And then I started putting in the Midnight Violet. And again, if I feel like it's, I lost it or anything that's going on, I can just start to pull that back up and then go back in with my color. And I can continue all the way around this. And I want a little bit more of that pink. So where'd my rubellite go? Here he is. All right, so I'm just going to keep on going and keep building up those layers until I get what it is that I want. It's a little too pink for me, so I'm going to go a little bit more on the rubellite. And again, it's moving. So this color is moving. If I ever feel like it's that much, I can always pull back on it, but it's starting to move. All right. Now, what I would do, and I know we, in the interest of time, I'm going to move on here a little bit, is I would finish this along. When I paint leaves, I like to use a little bit of blue. So I actually grabbed the a sea breeze, and I actually grabbed the just green, and then this emerald. This is from the spring set, and it has this really pretty bluish green tint to it. So I'm actually going to start there off with emerald. And then I'm going to add a little bit of my blue. And I don't know, I just kind of like blue with leaves. And if you want to make it really super green, this just green is very dark. I'm just going to do a little bit. And then I can use my brush with some water and I can start to blend those in a little bit. And I like with watercolor, it starts to, like, some sections are a little bit greener, some sections might be a little bit bluer. And then again, if anything starts to look a little crazy, you can start to take that off and then add your color in. But the idea is that you're building. So if I like it, I can, just like we did with the strip, I can dry that and then add more color in. So eventually what I would be doing is I would mount this on here. So it lines up perfectly. And then I had a sentiment strip that I would put on. So nice. So sorry about that, Lori. Super easy. It's not too hard. What you can do is do that. So let me do that flower. I think I have a little time. Let me zoom in for you guys so you can see that. I'll do another flower for you guys. But again, it's just that same technique. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for you guys. But it's that same technique where you're adding water, because it's water that does the movement, right? So it's water that does the movement. And as that water moves, I'm putting my pigment down. And that's the easiest way to kind of say it. So let me do this leaf up here. And I think that's my green one. All right, so I'm going to do this leaf here. So again, I'm just adding that clear water. And then starting off with my rubellite. And this is just going to get that color and start it to move around. And you notice, like, I did not add enough water. I took too much away. So I'm going to add more water in. And now I'm going to go ahead and let that water do its job. And that's the easy thing with watercolor, is letting the water do its job. Now I have enough there, so I'm just going to take my water and just move the pigment I already have and move that up into the top of the petal. So it's going to be a little lighter as it comes in. And now I can start to add that development of depth. So if I want to add maybe a little bit of a dark purple, I can put that in here. And you can see that because there's a little bit of water, it's already going to start to move. And that's what I meant. And this is going to blend those. So this ends up being really quick. Like I can probably do this relatively quickly. But you can start to see it starts to move in. So you get this really pretty graduation. Oh, sorry, guys. You get this really, really super graduation where you can see there's a little bit of that purple. And I'll show you because I want to add a little bit more. So I'm going to add just a little bit more purple. And this is that midnight violet. And I'll even put a little bit of that rubellite right on top of that, just because I want that to be nice and dark in the back. And as I move that forward, you can start to see it start to build up. Now, I still want to keep this nice and light. And if it ends up that I make an oops and I have too much color, then I can just simply take my cloth and I can just dab that away. And that acts like an eraser, which is really neat. Yeah, exactly. Let your water do the blending. And it ends up being, it's so fast and easy to add in that color. Now, if you're looking at that and you're like, I would never put rubellite and midnight violet together, they're great together. You also can add something like an autumn blaze. I'll show you this. Or a rouge. And because I'm staying like pretty close to it, to the color family, because these colors are analogous, they're similar to each other, it's just going to give it another little depth. And that to me is the trick with watercolor, is try to branch out. Don't always just stay with, oh, I'm just pink. I'm going to get every single pink in there. Try to add in red, add in purple, add in what the heck is around it with the with your color family. And so you can even see down here, now that this is dry, I can actually go back in. I can add some water down here at the base, and I'm going to add in a little bit more of that midnight violet. Now, this is a little bit of a smaller section, so I have to be careful about how far up I'm going, because I don't want it to be too crazy, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And so you eventually will get this beautiful depth of color. All right. And so when you start to look at it a little bit further away, you can see it. But when you look at it up close, you can see the orange and you can see the yellow and you can see all the other stuff. Elizabeth, it is. You totally can do it. And it's a little bit of play. And remember, it's just paper. So if it doesn't go well, throw it out. It's going to be something else. So again, this was my idea for the card, is this would be kind of poofed up. And so you have this white shading because these pigments are so bright, they're so vibrant. And so by having this big white border around it, that's going to give it that little bit of place where it's going to ground it a little bit more. So that's the idea for this card. So I'm so glad you guys were here with me today. And my third one was going to be using the gouache. So I'm apologize I didn't get to that one. But this gives you definitely two strategies to try. So we did the smooshing with the tubes, and then we also use the markers to get some nice blending on. And again, look at your flowers, and any flowers that you have that have nice super wide spaces, that is going to that's going to be super great. Yes, actually, yeah, gray tones or single tones, that would be great. In fact, that reminds me, and I apologize, Han, I got one more thing to add on. If you're like, I don't know what to do and this is really super scary, you can actually grab the Altenew watercoloring book. And this is a great little book because it allows you to practice with an open, with a no line coloring, or you can practice, it's the same exact image and you can practice with it in with a dark line. And that's what's really neat about these little books. And hey, you know what? The whole purpose of this is to be, you can turn it into a card if you want, or it's just a practice book. And those are super great to use. And like Han had put in there, thank you, Han. I hope you guys are inspired to go ahead and try some things and grab those brushes. Altenew makes this so easy because they have so many different media that you can try, from the pans to the markers to, heck, we even have the coloring pencils. There's so many things for you to try. So I really encourage you to get out there and take a look. Oh, that's right. Those books, great. That's right, Roxanne. Those books can be foiled. Everybody, I hope you have a super fabulous day. Han, it was so great. Thank you so much for being there behind the badge. And everybody, let us know. We'd love to see what you do. And I hope that you take out those watercolors, make something, show us out on the Altenew fan book, or give us a hashtag on social media with hashtag Altenew. And everybody, I will see you later on. Have a fabulous day.